everybody, it's the last Robo Kai here. This is the final episode of Nioh, at least in terms of commentated gameplay, and I'm joined by Cool Guy, and we're heading to the final piece of content that they added, the Abyss. So, the Abyss is an interesting little adventure that you go on. You need to have a cracked Ochiko cup to be able to access it, and you can up your divine rate with the Ochiko cups as well.
Mm-hmm.
You get cracked Ochiko cups, I believe, primarily from doing Twilight missions. I believe you get one for every Twilight mission you do. And it's already telling you what's going on here, and I'm letting it linger so people can read what's going on. But when you go in, you sort of start in a place called Terra Firma. And you can go straight to a boss arena called the Crucible. But the thing is that there are, especially when you first start off, there are 4 effects being placed on the area. And the thing about these effects is that they drastically influence what happens within the Crucible, and it can turn a very simple boss fight into an absolute agonizing farce. And so, the Abyss is essentially you deciding whether or not you can handle the horrible thing that's happened there, and if you reckon it's a bad idea, see, this is Terra Firma. This is the entrance to the Abyss, and through that Torii Gate is the Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
And each of these Inari statue pairs represent the you having cleared a particular area that's tied to the debuff. To get to each area, you have to take a boat, and you can sort of see up next to my health bar, we've got a variety of very horrible colors on there, very horrible effects, and what each of these areas are randomized, as is what the negative effects are, typically. So, you can look up in the menu what each one is. I'm just gonna go...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have no freaking clue what those...
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So, as you can see, there's Stench, obviously, which means is that an enemy can hit us, then we can't eat elixir properly.
Right.
Fire status effects are buffed. You can't effectively use, ninjas, bombs and things, and the last one is an Ambrita spike, which buffs the enemy. So we're gonna clear out all of them, and this is kind of nice. And yeah, your guardian spirits sit on the back of the boat. I'll show that off a bit more as we go through.
Looked adorable.
And so how these particular areas go, in this particular case, they call this one the Plane of Ubiquity. It's got a set number of areas from the game itself, and it will drop you in a variation of that, with the end goal being a variation of that as well. You're looking for a white Kadama for the most part, and so to find the white Kadama will usually mean killing your way over to it, or in other cases you're having to complete a challenge, which in some cases means you'll have to defeat a particular enemy challenge or whatever.
Spectral Solve. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen that before.
Yeah, Spectral Salve is the special elixir in the Abyss. You can only carry 8 of it.
Oh.
Even I was like, I should show that off, because you'll notice our elixir is blue, not
right.
not
so
yellow.
The literal thousands of elixirs that you've accumulated up to this point in the game mean absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
All right, that's pretty fair, actually.
Yeah, and worth noting, of course, the debuffs only count in the Crucible itself, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, the Abyss has 100 floors. I'm going to say that now.
I happened to notice that it seemed to go on for a while in the instructional what's the word I'm looking for cards.
Yeah, we won't be going that far, obviously. Just doing the first few floors of this is going to take a fair amount of time on its own, and obviously the further you go in, the more difficult it gets.
Do you have to do it in all one go if you want to go all the way down, or?
No. It does save progress after every few levels, every few floors. It may even save it after every floor. You can choose to start from, at any point that you've managed to get to.
Okay.
So, and obviously the deeper you get, the better the gear, the drops and everything like that. Yeah, no, there's still some red boys out there.
Yep, still some red boys. With the amount of thought that they put into this mode is honestly a little intimidating. Just in terms of all of the they absolutely went through like did a top to bottom audit of everything that the game could do and everything that they had done with the game up to this point, and like basically went through nearly exhaustively to try to figure out what was going to be both a appropriate and interesting challenge.
And there are lots of interesting like variations of boss fights throughout it. I believe floor 100 you fight Sanada Yukimura and Date Masamune at the same time.
Jesus.
At way like it's sort of getting further into it, like the difficulty increases on par with certain difficulty levels. So this is just like Way of the Samurai right now. The first like you can only do the first 3 floors if you're still on like Way of the Samurai. Once you get past once you defeat I think it's the 3, it might be more, but we'll, I'm not too knowledgeable in the Abyss, but I do know it does gate you based on the difficulties you've cleared, and so I think you have to unlock Way of the Nioh before you can actually try and do the entirety of the Abyss, and that by and large is because once you get past floor 20, which is sort of considered the final threshold that you need to sort of unlock before you start stepping into the further ones, once you get past that, you start having a better chance of acquiring Ethereal gear. And Ethereal gear is the next tier that was added with the Abyss. It's red. Everything is green. For Divine, Ethereal is red. And of course the statistical bonuses for all of the gear is way higher as a result. It's not the only way to get it, but it's the other way to get it also requires the Abyss. Because there are... It's kind of funny to say, but there are items you can get that... they...
You done screwed it up, buddy! You done screwed it up!
I'm like,
now
what?
You gotta kick the Tanuki's ass!
Oh well, he can have fun with that. But you get a droplet of defilement, which is a wonderful name for an item. But you use it on an item, and I believe that basically just means you can't use it. And once you reach a certain point in the dungeon, or when you clear the dungeon, you can get that item. You get that item back, and if you've gone far enough in, it'll hopefully have turned ethereal. So it's kind of, and of course if you die, yeah, because that's the other thing. It
was mentioning how defiled items get lost. So basically, you can explicitly defile one of your items that you're interested in upgrading to more or less gamble with its upgrading.
Yeah, and the way death works, because obviously this all sounds very roguelike at this point. The nice thing about Nioh is that dying when you've got your Guardian Spirit attached does not count. It's the second death when you don't have your Guardian Spirit. That's the problem. That's what you want to watch out for. You do not want to die without your Guardian Spirit, because that is what loses you all your progress. That is what loses you your defiled items. So yeah, be careful, guys.
Man, like the entire shot of this is very much reminding me of the ancient dungeon from Lufia 2. You remember that game? Yes, no?
Not Lufia 2, no.
Yeah, so Lufia 2 in and of itself, a JRPG, a great game. Won't go too far into it. The thing is that there was the ancient dungeon, which was a procedurally generated dungeon where there were 100 levels, and going into it knocked you back down to level 1, just walking in. It took away all of your equipment. It took away all of your helper summons, and basically just reset you to the start of the game. And it had a somewhat similar idea wherein there was a strong procedural generation algorithm that put a bunch of different kinds of enemy themes and puzzles and so on and so forth in front of you, and depending on the time the time of the game that you tackled it, the party that you had at the time would also factor very heavily into it. As a matter of fact, there was even like a super ultra end game double plus mode, where if you beat the game on its hardest new game plus mode, it basically just opened up the ancient dungeon and let you tackle it with whatever party disposition you wanted. So, like as an example, you never had like Tia and Dekar in the party at the same time during the main game, and if you wanted to try that, that's what this like absolute end game new game plus mode was for. And the reason I bring it up is because the Ancient Dungeon was considered like such a masterpiece of design and so much damn fun that there you go, there's your Kodama. That there are speedruns and events to tackle it even today. It was basically the first randomizer before randomizers were a thing. It's just absolutely it was an absolutely delightful game mode, and I'm like with how obvious it is that there's so much care and thought put into all of this. I'm surprised we're not seeing some stuff like that with this mode.
Yeah, so we're putting the like putting the droplet on. Obviously, we can't progress down far enough that it'll turn into ethereal gear, but I'm just sort of showing it off. I'm just like, why am I even gonna put this on anyway? Probably this.
I mean, you're lingering on it long enough. Seems legit. So, like, is Divine Gear had a special thing surrounding it as well, in that, you know, it has the added bonuses that go along with it. Like, what is there something that similar that goes along with Ethereal Gear, or are they just more better?
Well, they're straight up better. Like, the statistical bonuses you would get compared to Divine Gear of the same level are higher, and also, as is with all different tiers of gear, you get one more additional slot of statistical bonuses.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more better, and there's more of it. Also,
yeah.
Just Doggo chilling out in the back there is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, so here's another variation. Look, the Kodama's right there, but we have to get through a Ninja Gauntlet.
Whoa. Boy, tactically, that got weird pretty quick. Really glad you managed to swing through that.
Well, it is only, like, you know, normal level difficulty at the moment. I was never really going to be in danger at this point. It's but when it spikes, you definitely notice it. Like when the enemies start hitting hard, once you start hitting the lower levels, you're like, oh, okay, yep. Now I have to be in a lot of danger.
All right.
Yeah, it's not quite the 100 Oni fight, but it's getting there.
Like, I don't know. At least with the 100-man fight, you knew what the end looked like, right? You know, now it's just a gauntlet of some indeterminate size. Like, I get that statistically you're powerful enough right now that it largely doesn't matter to you, particularly when you start doing that and just blendering motherfuckers. But by the same token, it's just okay. There we go. It's like, when precisely is that going to come up?
Yeah, and if you're wondering, yes, you can have. There is a poo fight. Our buddy will turn up to face us as a fight in one of these arenas.
Freaking literally going between worlds to get poo. Why did I think it would be anything less? Why did I think I was free until the absolute last moment?
So any of you sort of sitting here wondering, oh man, like this sounds super tedious. Don't worry, all 4 don't regen on the next floor. Essentially, a single one is added each time. So if you go for, like, when you've got 1 there and you go, okay, well that's no big deal, I'll do it. You get through the crucible. If you go to the next one, you'll have 2. So once I clear all of these and I go to the next floor, it will only be 1 of these changes added, and I can just I can clear that. So it's sort of
you can. Basically, it takes a little bit of time to initially get them under control, but then they only truly become a problem again if you ignore them.
Yeah, like fire build-up wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I'm just getting rid of all of them just to show it off. So yeah, we're back in the sewers.
Of course we frickin' are. We're just talking about how I wasn't free of the poo yet. Oh God! You just got knocked down into it.
Yeah.
Poo came up and knocked you down into poo. It's like recursive poo. Oh.
Mudman.
Gross.
Yeah, as I've said to everybody, I haven't actually even reached Way of the Nioh in Nioh, just solely because I wasn't really up on the whole gear grinding and everything like that. Like I don't tend to really enjoy that sort of a thing.
I think after everything we've seen, it would be unfair to claim that you just weren't that you didn't have what it takes. The only thing you don't want to commit the time, which I definitely feel. It's like why don't you play you talk to people who really like video games. Why don't you play the most hardcore MMOs on the fucking planet? Because I want to play the 5 other games I could play with that time. That's why.
I'm somebody who's very easily distracted by other games, so when I start playing something and it starts making me have to spend a lot of time for what feels like no tangible progress, my general feeling is always I could be playing new game X. Yeah.
Freaking wheel monk trying to meme you with the ledge, buddy. You are about 40 hours too late for that trick. God, I was sitting here hoping you would get out before you got covered in poo, just because
I tried to escape the poo, but it keeps sucking.
You had been freaking covered in water, you were clean. You were clean for one glorious second. Gross. This entire thing is gross.
One of the cooler concepts, I think, is they made actually being in a sewer have a tangible horrible effect, and I appreciate that.
I mean, yeah, everybody hates sewer levels in video games, but that's because the sewer is always the least logically and most frustratingly designed thing in the game from a base design perspective. Sewers always go on way too long, are way too boring. You've seen one corridor of a sewer, you've seen it all, and they switch this way, that way, and the other way for frickin' ever. That's why people hate sewers. People hate sewers in this game, not because of that. The actual sewer sections are really over reasonably quick. The problem here is that it literally covers you in shit.
Just bring some nice bark that covers you in sweet sense.
Oh God!
Apparently, earth damage insta-shots the poo. I wonder if that's means something.
Huh. Just it's just a joke from the developers about how you should bury your poo. Just put it in a hole, cover it up.
Put it down. Okay.
Yeah, just plant it right in there.
Forget about it.
Oh, thank God, we're out of here.
Yeah, but it can come up on the rotation again, so we may be back down there again. I don't actually remember too many of the chambers, the many chambers that we go through. The funniest one, I think, is there is a particular one where when you go in there, it just dumps treasure on you. There's a full treasure room with chests and stuff. If you run into it, it just drops cash money, and it's really nice.
Then you see mission complete, and it's just all right. The game has mercy occasionally.
Yeah, you could ignore all of it too and walk straight to the Kadama, but why would you? And of course, the plane of perpetuity.
Oh my God! If it does that pop-in shit, I'm gonna go mad.
It does.
I am on the edge of
it's guaranteed there. You can hear it popping in the distance because an enemy.
Damn it! I am on the edge of madness, and my sanity is hanging by a thread. that that Onmyo mage was not helping with his like you can't touch me thing.
It's like, but I can touch you because I have ridiculous range.
Wah! Go away, Kappa. Jumanji spear.
You don't want to be here, Kappa. It's a weird maze full of weird people
fucking
wearing dumb
fox
hats.
statues.
Outfoxed.
My dog was out yelling at foxes earlier today, and I at the moment or at the time I encouraged him because he was just he's not gonna hurt a frickin' fox. He's just out there yelling at them and having fun. And now I kind of wish he had yelled a lot more, and I had just encouraged him more because fuck foxes.
Just to hold your dog up to the screen.
Really done with your fox bullshit.
It's like a Nioh speedrun of the temple, and we could just have you holding Chip up to the screen and Chip barking.
Whoa. He actually doesn't like being held up. Like he, for whatever reason, likes all 4 feet on the ground. Like even,
I can relate to that.
I mean, yeah, it's very odd. Like I've very rarely had a dog that's like that. But like even if you like invite him to jump up, like he'll jump up, but he's going to look at you like he's a little uncomfortable, and he's going to want to hop down pretty fast. Freaking this guy trying to meme you by catching you at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, and for the record, there is a further thing relating to ethereal gear called graces, but I have absolutely no experience with them. All I know is that depending on like how you get them, which is like really like when I look it up, it's kind of a bit vague and things like that. But I think you get one when it turns your gear set ethereal. They're like tied to different gods. Like there's like the grace of Amaterasu or Kagasuchi or Oatatsumi or Ayamatsumi or Shinatsuhikyo or Susanoo or basically there's a lot of different ones, and you can only get them in like there are ethereal items that can drop in the main game, but then most of the other ones only drop in the abyss. Like when you turn the item into an ethereal item.
You have cleansed this crucible.
Yep, we've got all the crucibles done, and I really like this. I like this boss arena because you just go in there and there's just like this thing. This is metal. This is metal as hell.
Yeah, no, like frickin' Deathclock is looking at this and just being like, "This is acceptably metal.
Yeah,
this is acceptably brutal."
Who is that big?
Oh my god!
So yes, the first of the Crucible's enemies is of course the Nioh.
God freaking damn it! Of course it's this jabroni again. But
he is like normal level, and so he's not really that scary or intimidating at all.
I mean, him like going to claw your ghoulies off and like halfway phasing through you. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit okay. I was a little bit scared there for a moment. Like I wasn't sure what was gonna happen.
Yeah. So as you can see, the only one that's kicked off is the one that puts a puddle on the floor, and if you walk into it, you take damage.
Okay.
And that sounds annoying. So let's go clear it off.
Sure, why not?
There's like one that like reduced agility and all this other stuff. So we we got some of the white Kadama already on the shrine. I guess they just wander off.
Wandered the hell off again.
Wanders off into a plane of ubiquity.
Ubiquity.
I love those names.
Plane of ubiquity. Like what is that supposed to mean? It's the plane that's always there.
The plane
it's a plane. It's always there.
Well, there was the plane of perpetuity was one of the other ones, so I guess it's like the plane of there.
That's the plane that goes on forever, though, right? Like I can almost feel that one simply because like they're. All right, so I'm going to run away with the point, but I promise to God I'm bringing it back.
That's right. It's a 45-minute video.
Yeah, there is an enduring question in like astrophysics whether like what is the shape of the universe, and is it finite or infinite, and the overall shape of the universe that most astrophysicists can now basically agree on is a little bit like a donut, because that's more or less what it looks like in physical space if you try to make a three-dimensional space like a cube and then fold it over itself to get to incorporate a fourth dimension, which obviously is time. And time gets weird when you start talking on a universal scale, because time only has meaning in the context of how far light has traveled. Because if light has never reached something as far as any kind of Newtonian physics is concerned, it doesn't exist. So, yeah. But that begs the question: is the universe finite? Is it? And if so, is that it like some sort of standard standard constant size, or is it like a variable function with like nanoseconds from the Big Bang or something of that nature, or is it just infinite? And wherein even if you were able to somehow outrun light, things would still exist in some way. And that is an absolutely like open great question of physics in this day and age. Like to date it, I'm talking in April of 2020. So I don't know. Maybe by the time this goes live, there will be some incredibly smart person who's answered this question. But as of April 2020, this is a great question of physics. So when you start talking about the plane of ubiquity, that doesn't really make sense. But some of the other planes are like implicitly giving opinions on that. Okay, dude, implicitly giving opinions on that like the answers to those questions. And I sincerely doubt that they meant that, but still, it meant something to me. Damn it.
Still makes more sense than the Grey system. I was looking a little bit more up on it, and apparently if you want specific races for specific gear pieces, you want to like leave on certain floors. So like, because apparently like they're each assigned to a different tier, so certain like statistical numbers or whatever. It's like there's a very good reason I didn't get into the ethereal stuff, and it's just because it just holy crud,
it starts to hurt your head.
They made it
hurts your head even more than the bullshit I was just talking about.
Yes. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of this ubiquity.
Yeah, like let us no longer be in the place that is always there. That seems fine. All right. So this is another straight up fight.
Yep, the Crucible is always a boss fight of some variation. So with 100 floors, I reckon there's quite a few interesting boss pairings that they have go on. And that could be any human enemy, any like boss enemy, but it's Derek this
Derek!
time.
What's up, buddy? And
Derek apparently on a higher plane of difficulty than the Nioh. I wonder if there's an Edward Kelly Derek team up, or a Derek Nioh team up.
Or friggin'
Cool.
thousand eyes and Derek team up.
So yeah, I've
why did I say
got
that?
too many items in the box. But that's okay, because we're not here about collecting items. I'm just showing off the Abyss.
Yeah.
Which is, which is still gonna go for a little while yet. So we obviously go further than, like, the third floor here. So, yeah. We're definitely gonna go get rid of that, because I do not like stench.
Stench is terrible.
Stench is bad. Everyone hates stench.
I definitely hate stench.
I'm going to get rid of some of these items. I've never actually really shown, like, the donating items, so I'm just going to go through and, like...
Oh, you basically are turning these things into Imrita.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you hand these in, and I'm just going to show this, you can actually choose to select a tier of weapon or whatever to get rid of. So like I've
thank
just
God.
selected all of those as
Yeah,
weapons.
there you go.
And
Boom.
when you do it, you get rewards from the Kadama in return. And I didn't do it for like anything except weapons, so we'll do that for armor now as well to free up some room. So there we go.
Yeah, it's just like you just got rid of like 125 items there, with like 3 or 4 button presses.
Yeah, they typically give you elixir in the other realm, like in the normal realms, but obviously because they can't give that to you, they don't give that to you here.
I'm just marveling at how nice that was, simply because like I said, you just got rid of 125 items, and you just had to click a couple of times. Like that is brilliant.
There's basically 4 ways to get rid of items that you don't need. The first one is to donate them to the shrine for Amrita and the occasional item. Then there is selling them, obviously, in order to get money. But you can also have most of the gear items disassembled at a blacksmith, and in most cases that will give you rare pieces of war gear, like, you know, rare pieces of like smithing gear that you can then use to like, make more stuff.
Like Tomei needs some pretty specific gear to make you the good stuff.
Can't light it.
Can't light it.
We don't go in there, so we can't light it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is there any point to lighting it? Because
it's sad. I like lighting it. It's one of those things
I
I enjoy doing.
just the motion that William has for it, just like clicking those stones together. It looks like it makes him look like such a badass. Just like boom, I got this, and then he's just made fire. Like whatever.
The most powerful of Irishmen.
Nobody step.
And the final way, of course, is the tea house where you turn it into glory. Though obviously, like stuff that isn't on the demand list for your clan will not have as good a returns. Though the higher, like if you were crazy enough to donate, you know, divine gear, you'd probably get a good return.
I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but you definitely have more divine gear than you're strictly speaking interested in at this point.
Well, see, that's the fun thing about divine gear, is that divine gear is used in soul matching to further boost divine gear.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
So what you'll usually have is a pile of like a big pile of +1s that you'll start smooshing together to turn into a slightly smaller pile of +2s. That then again gets smooshed down further into +3s, +4s, +5s. At some point or another, you pick up more +1s that you smoosh together, and you're doing it all to sort of get a high enough tier of that piece of gear, so that you can then smoosh it into the gear you're wearing and level it up, so that you can get it up to that lofty 15 plus, which I have never done again because
since we were talking about grinding gear.
Yeah. Like, when I play the game, like, getting the divine stuff's like sort of a matter of, like, it happens because I'm enjoying myself at the time I'm playing it.
You never actually try to farm for it because this isn't an MMO.
Yeah, I'm not a big gear farming person, so to speak. Like, Final Fantasy 14, yeah, I've done every relic weapon, like, thing that they've done.
You've also fished, like, every fish. You are...
Look, fishing is relaxing and you can watch things while you fish. Like, at the time of this recording, Toei, guys behind, like, Kamen Rider and, like, Super Sentai and a whole bunch of other stuff have started putting, like, a large lot of their old, like, 1980s stuff online. So, like, I can sit and fish and watch Wind Spectre, for example, or Space Sheriff Gavin. It calls him Space Cop. That always sounds weird because most people I know call him Space Sheriff. But you know, like, or Combattler V, or Volts 5. Which
all right, you won me over with Combattler V. The other stuff I was just like, okay.
No, dude.
Okay.
Operation
Wind
Spectre is fucking amazing. Operation Wind Spectre is like, you know, like the Brave series, how they'll often have robots with like human intelligence and stuff like that.
Do I know the Brave series?
Of course you do. Well, Operation Wind Spectre has 2 robots of a similar vein, but it's all suit acting stuff. Operation Wind Spectre is like future cop stuff, adventures and stuff, but at the same time they're also dealing with like accidents and incidences and stuff like that. So, you know, that could result from future technology. They even have an episode about like terrorist acts being performed with drone weapons. And remember, this was made in the 90s, so it was like a guy using like remote helicopters and shit, and really crappy robot spiders. But don't worry about it.
So for being way of the samurai here, this guy still has a ton of health.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's
still holding Todokatsu, I assume. I guess.
But I chipped through it very quickly. See, like, a lot of my hits are doing like 2,000 damage, so yeah.
Going friggin' Super Saiyan. That'll handle it quick as you like.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going until the game tells me that like I haven't beaten Way of the Strong. Can you please go beat Way of the Strong? Soup.
Alright. What do we got this time? Poison buildup.
Which is interesting. I don't know, like, does that mean the enemy we're going to be facing has poison as an attack? Because when we went in, you'll note, the first one we went into, it's like, you know, like, the cumulative power of fire was buffed, right? But we fought a Nioh. So,
yeah.
So if you know what each floor has, and the boss for each floor is static, the Nioh is always the first, and you know, the second is always the second, the final one is always that. Hi, dogs. Like, you don't do weird things for your dog, and then you just look at them as they tilt their head and stare at you in confusion.
I loved every moment of that. Like, I am not messing with it at all. Like okay. What got me more than anything else was that you like almost perfectly went the entire length of the boat. It was like that emote was designed to work with the length of the boat. Or the boat was designed to work with the length of the emote. Either or.
The perfect combination. So we're here fighting some of Mitsunari's boys.
I think the kill arenas are probably overall less stressful than the the Kodama levels, simply because at least you know the shape of what you're getting your arms around when you get in here.
Yeah. You know, the location of where you start in those regions and where the Kodama is randomized to a degree, so yeah, you'll always
right.
have that little bit of that struggle to figure out where it is, but the game will always objective marker it on the map.
Oh, well that's helpful, I suppose.
Yeah. It can be a little hard to tell with like all the weird dots and stuff I have around there.
Honestly, I like haven't looked at your mini-map at all this entire episode.
The mini-map really isn't something you look at more often than a glance to see if you've got a detection thing on, to see if you've got like a glowy that tells you you've got something important to get.
Go away, Yoki. Nobody likes you.
Yeah, I'm still going.
Yeah, like I said, you hold your breath, and there's that moment where you're just like, is it over? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Then the Tengu shows up, and you're just like, stop! You're embarrassing.
Typically,
yourself.
You can tell it's the last wave because the music changes. Like in that particular one, the music
true.
shifted.
Yeah,
and it was like it got to that dramatic
there.
music. Yeah.
I'm done making stupid noises. That's a lie. I'm never done making stupid noises.
We must never stop in our future of making stupid noises.
If I can't make stupid noises, what's the point of living?
Indeed.
You are leveling up at a decent frickin' clip at doing all this.
The Abyss is a good way to, you know, get that going too.
Yeah, push the limit between difficulty levels, if nothing else. I'm certain.
All right, it's time for boss number 4. Onryoki, apparently considered higher tier than Tadakatsu by himself.
I strongly disagree.
You're free. Go. Oh God, no! I've made it matter.
Please go away. No, of course not. Of course you're not going to go away. That would make everything too easy.
God, yeah, emancipate a giant like swarm of angry, vengeful ghosts, and they just get angrier at you. Like, oh wait, no, I don't want to leave.
There we go. Next floor.
Next floor.
I I love how excited the Kodamas get when they're transporting you to like a lower circle of hell.
So reduced agility is one that's like pretty rough, because that straight up would mean that you are like you're like, if you're in like naked, then you're in light armor. If you're in light armor,
yeah, I was
then
gonna say, like, what does that even mean? Like,
basically you're basically like, you know, naked
you're
or
a
in
tier
light
heavier
armor
than you would expect it to be.
Yeah, so if you're a particularly dodgy armor-setted person, you don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, and even if you're
in heavy armor, you don't give a shit.
Well, if you're heavy armor, wouldn't that lower you to overpowered or overburdened rather? Which
I don't know, honestly. I don't think you can ever sort of get like that. I think it just caps out at 100%, which is like I've never overloaded myself to that point. So I don't know.
It seems like just being heavy encumbered is pretty bad. So
yeah, the way Nioh works is heavy armor is not as effective at these high levels anyway. Like,
yeah,
you just don't damage. So apparently Nioh 2 has made a lot of that a lot better. But we haven't actually gotten Nioh 2 hasn't actually, at the time of this recording, I should say, like they haven't actually added anything higher than Way of the Strong there, or as they call it, Dream of the Strong. Because they just decided it had to be called something different, I guess. Like, I mean,
it legitimately does reduce confusion between the two games. Like, if you're talking about the games on a on like a forum or something like that, people can immediately tell which game you're talking about just from the specific language.
At the very least, it'll be easier to Google Nioh 1 difficulty advice now that Nioh 2's
also
out.
That's the other part of it that I was going to get to, is that like I mean, these are legitimately things that you have to think about when you're naming stuff. I frequently said like the actual hardest problem that, okay, whatever, dude, that designers and programmers share is naming things. Because naming things is really hard, damn it!
Some people struggle just at the idea of naming their character at the beginning of a game.
Right, you know,
which cracks me up so much.
I mean, I frequent, like, I do, I'm gonna cop to it. Like half the time I'm either going to do one of a couple of default freaking names, or I'm just going to put an
which is really funny, because like I'll often just like you know, sit down for a few seconds and come up with something fun.
There are certain people who are really effing good at naming things. You're one of them.
People who know me know that I made an entire custom group of guys in XCOM 2.
Oh my god, Bogan Squad.
Called Bogan Squad, and they were all completely different Bogan stereotypes, and also Tony Abbott.
Logan the Bogan Strogan and Victoria Bitter Brews.
Hey, let's be honest, Logan the Bogan Strogan is the single greatest character in the entirety of that game, and when you get him at the start of your run, you know you're gonna win.
Yeah, like you have nothing to worry about if you get Logan the Bogan Strogan.
He has the greatest 80s Australian cricketer player mustache, if I'm recalling correctly.
In case somebody watching this isn't familiar, Bogans are basically Australian rednecks. Like that's just how it works. They're
only
Australian
worse
rednecks,
dressed.
And you know, with more chain smoking. And they drink shittier beer somehow. Like I've actually had a Victoria bitter, and it's just like, God, you think Budweiser is bad?
Victoria bitter, I still don't understand why that was like anybody was drinking that. Like nowadays, disgusting. Australia actually has taste. Like people like, but you know, like I'm pretty sure there are still some people out there who only drink VB, as it's called.
Oh, it's absolutely revolting.
It's honestly the thing that's probably helped Australia the most in its beer consumption is that most of our brewers were bought out by Japanese. So now, like, Suntory owns like Tui's and other things. I think it's Tui's.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of Belgian conglomerates own like some of the more famous like medium brews, I guess is what you could call like the success stories of the American microbrew revolution, like Boulevard Brewing, which is local to me at Kansas City. Like, there's basically no kind of beer that they do poorly. Like, I don't care what kind of beer you want to talk about. Is it like, do you want to talk about a lager? Do you want to talk about a porter? Do you want to talk about a stout? Do you want to talk about a quad? Do you want to talk about bourbon aged any of the above? Like, Boulevard does it, and they do it very, very well. They're owned by some Belgian conglomerate now.
Well, that's it. We're actually getting towards the end of the video, and as I said, this is the last commentated Nioh video, so I'd just like to take this moment. Thank you very much for joining me, Cool Guy, for 60 episodes of Nioh. It has been an absolute treat showing off the game that we didn't get to when we were playing together.
It is like this has been an honor, dude. Like watching you go through this so competently, so entertainingly. Like it has just been one of the greatest experiences I've had in years. Like 100%, man. I absolutely appreciate you, and this is basically just again justified, you know, my decision to like half a freaking decade ago to work with you. Like, fucking love it. Smithing text.
Yeah, he drops one for the White Ochiko Cups. I'd also like to thank everybody for... Yeah, see, I can't advance because we're strong. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and following us through all of this. I'd like to thank everyone who leaves the comments, everyone who follows in the forums, everyone who talks to us in the Discord. I'd like to thank all of you. It has been wonderful presenting this game to you all. And in a moment, I'm going to show off the fact that I didn't get a Ethereal item out of that, because obviously, like, even though I've did more than 4 stages, which is one way to get them, obviously it wasn't in the high enough difficulty level for it. The game would never let you get an Ethereal weapon that early. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. There will be one more video, but it will be without commentary, just to show off a few, like, Spirit Guardian attacks and things like that. So, I've been the Last Robo-Kai.
Dude, I have been Cool Guy.
See you around.
Love each and every one of you.
Yeah, it has been an absolute treat. I didn't realize we actually had a whole other minute of me.
Oh yeah, we've got another 45 seconds. Believe it or else.
Yeah, but yeah, like so, like I've said my thank yous. Like, Nioh is a fantastic game. There will be, once Nioh 2 hits PC, or if I get a capture card before then and all the DLC is out, there will be a Nioh 2 Let's Play, because I have played through Nioh 2. It is a fantastic game, so please look forward to that.
I am.
God, when this episode comes out, the Nioh 2 might start straight away afterwards, depending on when this episode comes out and when like Nioh 2 gets released on the PC.
Like we've been doing a very good job of keeping a backlog for this one.
Yeah, but in the meantime, there will probably be another project starting up as well.
I have a few things in mind, particularly now that my injuries have finally healed, and I have all of the dexterity back in my right hand.
I'm waving now. We'll see you all next time.
Lates.